welcome to another edition of After the Whistle. We are here. September is going by quickly. He's in his English hoodie, and we just there's a lot going on. You know, the crew is here. Pedro once again is back there.
The rated laugh.
doing his thing. All right, so Antonio Brown has had quite the month. He's had quite the week. Started off, what was it, last week at some point, gets into a fight with the GM of the Oakland Raiders, Mike Mayock, allegedly called him a cracker, and, you know, they allegedly got into it. Players had to hold Antonio Brown back, and, you know, just like we all expected, he got released, and all was well in the world until everybody saw he became a New England Patriot, and now it was a conspiracy. This was all rigged. He planned this all out, and then today we got the news of the sexual assault allegation that was dropped, and it's like, woo, my man can't stay off the headlines.
No, he really can't, man. And just the way he went about it, and I've been watching Hard Knocks. You know, I'm a Raiders fan and a Pats fan, so fortunate enough the Raiders is on Hard Knocks, and I didn't hear about. I never seen this. You know what I mean? This AB before. You didn't really hear about it years ago. They kept a lot of stuff in house. But this past year, he's been acting ridiculous, and it kind of seems like him and the Pats kind of were in cahoots a tad, just because of the way things went. Like, you know
well, the Pats did try to trade for him in the spring, but the Steelers were like, no, we're not trading him to you. That's why they shipped him to Oakland. But everything came full circle. But now he's got to deal with this, and depending how everything goes with this allegation, he might not play because the league's looking into it, the Patriots looking into it, and law enforcement isn't looking into it yet. But police haven't been like really involved yet. It's like everything's like they're still looking, like everybody's looking into it. I don't know.
I thought law enforcement were the first people looking at everything when criminal.
I don't know. It's this whole thing is just weird, but yeah, it's allegations right now. But I mean, if you read, I saw some of the emails, and I mean, there's no backtracking from those emails if that was him sending those emails. But I'm like, but the act and all that. I mean, these are two people that apparently had a relationship with each other, so it's like a lot. There's gonna be people that don't believe the lady. There's gonna be people that do believe it, and it's just gonna be. You just gotta wait and see until the facts are presented and everything plays out. Because right now, in my eyes, he's already guilty, just because of what was going on leading up to this. So he's got a long ways to go. But also, him and his agent said they anticipated something like this happening. So this story is just all crazy.
Yeah, I seen some of the article. I seen some of the incidents, and I'm like, all right, this sounds crazy. But then I was talking to somebody, and it was like, she said like 3 multiple occasions. And I'm not a woman, but I know if I'm in a situation I'm uncomfortable to the point that it's traumatizing, one time is enough. So I'm not saying she's lying or telling the truth. I'm just saying it sounds kind of suspicious.
Yeah, if they're gonna bring that up in court, if it goes in court, they're gonna bring that. Yeah, they're definitely gonna bring that up too. So it's a tricky. It's a little. It's better them than me because I couldn't. I ain't putting myself in that type of position, and you know. Hopefully everything works out for both parties, or, I mean, if he did it, well, you got to face the repercussions. If he did it, then, I mean, try to be a decent human being from going forward, because right now you've looked all types of bad.
And he's going to be under a microscope probably the whole season.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll see. Well, to Antonio Brown's new team, the Patriots, they made, this wasn't a game. It was a beatdown of the Steelers. I don't know. The Steelers looked like a team that was ill-prepared for this game. They were undisciplined. They didn't show up. They were horrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad.
Nah, it was bad. Like, I didn't think the Pats were going to beat them like that because they're still trying to figure out themselves as a unit. But the Steelers are like, once they got rid of AB, they lost everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Roethlisberger looks kind of out of shape. Like, he just doesn't look like the same him, but maybe that's just how he looks.
Yeah, and then you got the defense. The defense could not stop anybody. They couldn't stop the Patriots basically did whatever they wanted to do. I mean, Brady had himself a game, 341 yards, 3 touchdowns. The receivers were, they couldn't stop none of the receivers. Edelman, Gordon, and Dorsett all had big outings, and the Steelers, they better shore up that defense going forward, because if they have another outing like that, it's going to be a long season. But one thing I will say about the Steelers, they always start off slow every single year.
No, definitely. But the way that offense was looking, they were struggling. Yep. So your defense has to try to give you more possessions and more series, I'd say. Yeah. But hey, our Pats wide receiver core, we ain't no slouches.
Yeah. And Josh Gordon looked real good out there, especially for him coming back. Philip Dorsett, he looked real good. Also, the Patriots just traded Demaryius Thomas to the Jets. Oh, well. They made the Steelers one-dimensional. The Steelers only ran the ball 13 times for 32 yards, 2.5 yards per carry. I mean, that's not going to cut it, and Big Ben threw the ball 47 times. You know my motto, if you throw the ball anytime over 35, you're not going to win a game. And, well, unless you're Brady, because he threw it 36. But
Brady's different.
Yeah, he threw it 36. That's different. But but Big Ben, they took away Juju, and there was nothing Pittsburgh could do.
They don't really have much.
Yeah, they don't.
Right.
Now, to the Patriots' next foe coming in week 2, boy, did Lamar Jackson have himself a day against the Miami Dolphins. My goodness. Everybody that said he should switch positions probably looking stupid right now, because, man, he was out there. Him and Hollywood Brown were out there just, doing work. And it seems like they got him a nice young receiver, a couple receivers too. Speed, they got speed on the outside, and Lamar Jackson was just finding everybody. At one point, he was 7 for 7.
Yeah, man. The way Lamar is, I feel like he's one of those people. He needs a year to get accustomed to the game, the schemes, and everything. And he's pure talent, bro. That boy got some game.
Yeah, and what I liked about this, he only ran the ball 3 times. Granted, he'll probably run more if need be as the season goes on, but they only ran him 3 times. He's 17 of 20. He had a 99.4 QBR rating. He basically had a perfect passer rating. And this is quite the way to start off your second season. And this is because he came in with a lot of motivation, especially when all those folks were trying to tell him to switch positions.
I mean, they don't tell any other quarterbacks of different skin tones to switch positions. So just because he's a physical, athletic freak, get him in a chance, because you got a guy by the name of Cam Newton that could be something if he had a line. But, and that too. But, Lamar, just allow these guys to be what they are, and that's dual quarterbacks. Yeah. And respect it. And
it was a complimentary game. They had 46 rushes, 20 passes. The defense had 2 sacks, a turnover. And Miami, they just went on. There's a mutiny happening over there, because after that, a bunch of players are talking about calling their agents telling their agents to get them out of there. Don't want to play over there. But, I mean, what did y'all expect, you guys? You guys basically have an entirely new team. Nobody from last season's team is returning. I think they probably have like 3 players returning from last season's team. So what do you expect?
First of all, they got rid of their 2 best players a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And then, who's going to trade for those guys after that loss?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you might as well be fortunate that you're playing in the NFL. You're playing for an organization that still keeps you, because you guys are trash.
Yeah.
And just play football. Stop crying to your agents and get better.
Yeah, definitely get better. But it's going to be a long season, so they're going to be tanking for Tua. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, 4 catches, 147 yards. That's a great coming out party. This guy, he was injury prone in college, so that's why he fell, but he's got talent. He got a lot of talent. Oh, this game, woo! Those Cleveland Browns, all that talking during the offseason, and these guys got humbled. They got humbled by the Tennessee Titans. Baker Mayfield out there. I said once you get film on a player, you get a good amount of games and a good amount of film on him, you'll figure out his tendencies. And Baker was trying to force things. He was trying to force things. And these guys they bought into their hype, and they forgot they actually had to go out there and perform. Because it's one thing. NBA is different, because you can have a new team with a lot of talent, but sometimes the talent just overwhelms a lot. And the NFL is not like that. You could have a lot of talent, but if it's not all clicking, it's going to be a long day. And Cleveland they just had a long day.
Well, I will say Cleveland's aren't the Dolphins, so give them guys a chance. You just sound like a hater over there.
No, I'm not.
Like after game 1, like Jesus, bro.
It's the Super Bowl team. People were telling me.
I said wild card, bro. Don't listen to them bum Super Bowl nonsense.
I didn't even say that.
But man, give them guys a chance, bro. Odell need to get his life in order. Put his watches leave his watch at home, because you got ESPN analysts talking about he's wearing a watch in the game. Like, why don't you talk about how he played, how the team played? You know what I mean?
That watch is distracting from the 3 interceptions the quarterback threw in the fourth quarter. That's all that is. But yeah, they need to play a whole lot better, because they got nothing going. They were very undisciplined, 18 penalties. You're not going to win that game. I'll tell you what, the players shouldn't be worried. The only person that should be worried is the head coach, because if they don't make the playoff, that guy is going to be gone. If they don't finish 500, he'll be gone before the season's over, because he's already in the hot seat. And the way they started, it just doesn't look good. And they have a target on their back because their quarterback was doing all that talking. And They bought their own hype, and Vegas bought that hype too. So
Vegas bought the hype?
Yeah, Vegas bought that. Yeah, Vegas bought the hype too. But lucky for them, they play the Jets Monday night. So I mean, this is gonna be. I don't know why we get the Jets and the Browns on a Monday night. This is gonna be a horrible game because But Cleveland, that's not a good way to start the season.
Agreed. They'll be all right.
Let's hope. Kansas City, they picked up where they left off. Patrick Mahomes had over 300 yards in the first half and had a little scared, hurt his ankle. Tyreek Hill goes down with an injured shoulder. There was a whole lot of injuries in this game. Nick Foles, he's done for a while. He hurt his shoulder too, I believe. And it was just all Chiefs. There was nothing Jacksonville could do.
I think I said last week they're going to give him a shellacking, right?
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
It was close for a little bit, but
when I turned the game on, it was a slacking.
When I first turned it was like 17. It was 7-13, but yeah, after that it was.
I said, oh man, I ain't
Sammy Watkins had himself a game, 9 receptions, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then LaShawn McCoy, 10 carries, 81 yards. Ooh, these guys. Ooh.
We said last week though, the more carries McCoy gets, the better he'll be. He's not a bum. He just didn't get enough carries.
Yeah,
and with that bum squad.
And their defense, they didn't play great, but they made some plays. They had a turnover in the red zone, I believe, in the second half. Jacksonville was driving, and one of the safeties punched the ball out of Leonard Fournette, and they recovered it, and then they went down and put up another one. So, I mean, that's a good way for them to start their season, and I believe they're traveling to Oakland next for game 2. But, yeah, these guys picked up where they left off. Mahomes finished the games with 378 yards, but he didn't have to do much in the second half. But
nah, they just, honestly, man, they're a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
They're ready. They're just ready to make a push for the Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah, those guys are definitely ready. And another game, the Redskins and the Eagles. This one, Philly started off slow in this one. They started off slow. Washington came out 17-0. They were rolling. They were playing solid defensively. They really was, in the first half, they really was holding the Philly big plays. They were shutting that down, and they were basically doing whatever they want. And then the second half happened, and yeah, that's all she wrote. Just deep balls, and he got going. Carson Wentz got going, and he started finding his receivers. Found Deshaun Jackson twice, and then he also found Alshon Jeffrey. So there was, you put up a good fight, Washington, but at the end you gotta stop them from those big plays.
Yeah, man. It was only a matter of time for Wentz got to fail and got into his groove, and that's exactly what happened, man.
Yeah, they didn't even run. But the thing with Washington, they decided to not have Adrian Peterson activated for this game, and the running backs that they had, Darius Geis and Chris Thompson, combined for 13 rushes for 28 yards and 2 yards per average.
We probably could have got them.
And the reason they didn't have Adrian Peterson active because they didn't feel like they were going to run the ball a lot. But
I thought you have your team active every game.
You would think you'd have your best players active, but some of these coaches, I'm telling you, man, some of these coaches, like, bro, what? Why is he not active? Like, he had played well for them last season, and then you do this, like
he doesn't have any like minor injuries.
No, none.
anything at all.
Perfectly
bruised
fine.
thumb, like
Perfectly fine.
some of these people are stupid. I'm sorry, bro. Like, because while we grew up, your best players always play every game unless they're injured. I don't understand why you're trying to be strategic and you just basically kind of just gave the Eagles a game.
Yeah, and you were up 17-0. Perfect time to start feeding the ball to Adrian Peterson, because if we know one thing, he can wear defense down. I don't care even if he's at this point in his career, but you were up 17-0. You could have just killed the clock some more, wear down the Eagles defense with Adrian Peterson, because Darius Geis and Chris Thompson weren't doing much for you. But then you...
He tried to, after the game in the interview, he tried to justify his decision?
Yeah, he tried to justify it.
How dumb did he sound?
Really dumb.
No,
but once again, this is Jay Gruden. This is a guy that I don't think should be coaching.
That's Gruden's brother, right?
Yeah. He's a terrible coach.
Yeah,
he's been there like 3-4 years. They haven't made the playoffs yet, and he's just continually making dumb decisions. So that's what they get. All right. And then lastly, before we go to Fantasy No Huddle, the Jets. These guys... They were up 16-0 in the fourth quarter. They were in control of the game, and then I don't know what happened, but they let the Bills come back in the game, and then they lost the game because they are the Jets. This is the same team, basically the same. They're doing the same thing they were doing last season, just giving away games and not making enough plays, because it was the way they were controlling this game. They should have won this game, but nope. They gave the Bills hope, and the Bills took it.
I didn't even watch this game, to be honest. I haven't even seen the recap. That's the first time I saw the recap, because when you asked me about the Bills and Jets, I didn't really want to pick a team.
Yeah.
It's like the battle of the losers. So, like, to be honest, like, they're just going to be playing games to see, like, who they can help get to the playoffs. Because neither one of them teams are going to the playoffs.
Yeah, and my thing is, why are you throwing the ball 41 times with Sam Darnold? He's still young. He still needs to learn. And you got Le'Veon Bell, who missed the entire season. Force-feed him the ball. He only ran the ball 17 times and for 60 yards, 3 yards per carry. You should have gave him some more carries, especially when you're up. When you're up 16-0. What are you guys doing? And I don't know. They're the Jets.
Yeah, man. Like, I feel like we've been around sports long enough to understand that these coaches should be equipped and they should have the knowledge to be able to strategize the game.
You would think, right?
That was tough to get out, man.
Yeah.
Jesus. But, but aren't we older, some of these coaches too, though?
Some.
So,
well, I mean, McVay's our age, but a lot of them are like a couple years older than us.
All right. So we're still young enough, because, we got older than some coaches nowadays, but some. But, the decision. Yeah, this is just why the Jets won't be good this season. Their head coach, I don't even think he should be a head coach there. The quarterback, the young quarterback, they're still making him throw the ball way too many times. So it's the decision making, and then your best defensive player, he gets hurt, he hurts his groin, and once he got hurt, then that's when the Bills made their run. Josh Allen still can't throw to the right team. I mean, he had 2 interceptions in this game, but he made the key late touchdown pass. But this guy still can't throw to the right team. He got 47.1 QBR, 71.2 passer rating. All right, this is the guy that went top 5, and I think who went before him? I forget who went after him, but I don't even remember. What draft was that?
He went ahead of Lamar Jackson. People who swore he was a better passer than Lamar Jackson, when everything about his football career says this guy doesn't complete over 60% of his passes.
Lamar Jackson won the Heisman one year and was in the running.
And was playing against NFL players, I mean.
So, whatever.
You want to take a guy from Wyoming who's playing against guys that probably won't ever touch the league, and you got a guy who's playing against guys who are going top 10, top 20 in the NFL, and he
won the Heisman, bro.
Yeah.
And almost won it twice.
We're going to go to Fantasy No Huddle just because it don't make sense why Josh Allen is stuck. Here's Craig with the Fantasy No Huddle. We're going to come back, talk some more football.
Yeah, Craig.
Craig.
Get up, Craig.
What's up, everybody? And welcome to No Huddle here on After the Whistle. It's your boy, Craig. You may recognize me from my shows, The Flex, The End Zone, and Tell of the Tape. Gym Bag Entertainment in the house, where we cover sports and we're guys who just love sports. Check us out on YouTube, Gym Bag Entertainment. Today, I'm here once again to give you my DraftKings lineup of the week. And this week, I think I got a special one here, ready and waiting. Starting off right at the QB position, Tom Brady is going up against the Miami Dolphins. And this is going to be a slaughterhouse. Antonio Brown is in the building. Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman, Jacoby Myers, Sony Michel, James White out of the backfield. This is going to be an absolute slaughter. It's going to be worse than what Lamar Jackson did, I have no doubt, and Tom Brady is going to reap all the benefits of that. Next, I took a little bit of a gamble. Kansas City going up against Oakland. I chose Damian Williams, only 5,800. Thought that could have been a steal for me. He looked really good last week, a lot better than I expected. And then next on the list, I'm throwing in Derrick Henry. I don't have a lot of faith in Derrick Henry. He had a big week last week, 2 touchdowns and 150-something yards, but he had one 75-yard touchdown, and that's kind of his thing. He gets that one big blowout run where he looked excellent. He looked kind of like remind me of Gronk, where it looks like he's moving slow, but no one can catch up to him. It was pretty amazing to watch. Not to hate on him, but I think he's going up against Indy. I think he's going to be able to have another great game. Next, we can't go with Tom Brady and not throw in a Patriots wide receiver, and I'm going to give it to my boy Josh Gordon. Antonio Brown is going to get all the coverage and leaving my boy Josh Gordon wide open for them TDs. I think he's going to take that Gronk role. Next, I don't know if he's going to do what he did this week, but I love Hollywood Marquise Brown, Antonio Brown's cousin, looking real good, and they're going up against Arizona. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to pick apart this defense once again. Another guy I'm a little bit unsure of, but I love what he did last week. You got John Ross for the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the weak team of the San Francisco 49ers. This team's playing so terribly that Cincinnati is going to look like one of the best teams in the league. I think this is going to be an awesome game, and for 4,600, it's a steal. Next, I could spend a little bit of money, and even though he wasn't as good as I hoped he'd be, I got George Kittle. Cincinnati's defense is also terrible. If there's going to be one shining light, it's going to be George Kittle. I mean, the man actually had 3 touchdowns in the game last week, but 2 of them taken away by offensive holding. If they can get that holding under control, George Kittle is a beast in the red zone. And then Josh Jacobs in my flex ran all over Denver. Expect him to do the same thing to Kansas City. They're going to try to run that ball to get that pass game going. I think this is going to be a great divisional matchup. And then finally, I was able to pick the best defense in DraftKings, which is the Bears, going up against Denver. I think the Bears' defensive line is just going to be swallowing up Joe Flacco all day. Joe Flacco better get real comfortable on the ground, because Khalil Mack is going to be putting them there all night long. It's going to be an amazing game to watch, and I think the Bears are just going to blow it away. So those are my DraftKings picks: Tom Brady, Damian Williams, Derrick Henry, Josh Gordon, Marquise Brown, John Ross, George Kittle, Josh Jacobs, and the Bears. And until next week, I'll see you later. Have a good night.
Thanks, Craig, on that fantasy. Make sure y'all set y'all lineups, because I forgot to set my lineup, and it was a bad fantasy Sunday for me. Arizona Cardinals and Detroit Lions. Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray made his debut. It was a tale of 2 halves. He was like 9 for 29 in the first half, and then he lit it up in the second half. He got his rhythm. The Lions were doing Lion things and let them back in the game. Matt Patricia calls a timeout essentially for no apparent reason that gave the Cardinals a chance to tie the game, which they did. We go to overtime, and then Cliff Kingsbury, he wants to play for the tie on 4th and whatever. When they were at midfield. I think they were at the 50-yard line, and they could have got a chance to get into field goal range, but he decides to punt the ball away, and fittingly, this game ended in a tie.
Yeah, I was shocked myself when I seen the outcome of this, watching it, like, what was going on here. One thing I will say, at least Kyler Murray ain't lose his first game.
Yeah, at least that. Because he could have folded. There was so many. He's going to have a long season because they can't protect him at all. He was running for his life most of the game. I think he was sacked 5 times, and I think hit another couple more times. So, they need to protect him. But, hey, good showing for him. The Lions, they're the Lions. Nobody really I mean, this is not surprising to anybody, especially people in Detroit. They've come to expect these type of results with the Lions, but my goodness.
One thing I will say about Kyler Murray, though, like, once he gets a line, he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
You could see, like, that boy got some talent.
Yeah, he definitely.
He just got too bad he can't grow a couple inches. But once he gets some legit offensive linemen, they're going to be solid.
All right. Yeah, he's definitely going to be tough. All right. And Dallas Cowboys, they had themselves a game. Dak Prescott had himself a game, threw for over 400 yards. But once again, they were playing against the New York Giants, who we all have no idea what they were doing because they were just letting guys run free in that secondary. Some of these passes, touchdown passes, the guys were wide open, and so that was just a good throw by Dak. But the Giants' defense, my goodness, they were horrid.
Yeah, it looks like they didn't even want to be there. I don't know what they did the night before out there in Texas. Now Dak can start asking for that money because he wants to throw 400 yards. You do that a couple more times, you could deserve that money.
Hey, let him play the Giants. Let him play the Giants. He's tired. I mean, you're going to have to give him like $200 million. You keep playing the Giants. But once again, the Giants, Saquon Barkley was the only the highlight. Even Evan Ingram was pretty good for the Giants too, but Saquon, 11 carries, 120 yards. Zeke didn't have quite the game, which kind of was expected just because he missed all of camp, but they really didn't need him. And I don't think they need him that much against the team they're playing this week against Washington. So Dak might have another 400-yard game in him this week. So this Jerry Jones better start has to get ready to sign that check because you got to give that man his bread.
Nah, for real.
All right, this guy, we talked about this in the offseason. Jameis Winston, this is his last straw as a starting quarterback in the league, and he's still doing Jameis Winston things, dumb decisions after dumb decisions. Threw 3 interceptions. He threw 2 pick sixes, I believe. One of the pick six, it was just like he basically just gave the ball to the receiver because it was like, who are you throwing the ball to? And Jameis Winston just, he just hasn't matured. He hasn't grown as a passer. He's just still making silly mistakes, and they lost this game because of his silly mistakes. Even the last interception, it was supposed to be a screen pass. When you see the screen's not there, you just throw the ball to the ground and lift to play another down. But he just threw it up. It gets picked off. Another pick six in ball game.
Some people just can't get right, just can't get it. And you say he's not maturing as a passer. So it's like if you're not gonna get better every year and go through the maturations of being a starting quarterback, then you got to sit down, bro. And after a while, he might be out the league.
Yeah, I know, especially when you got Bruce Arians as a coach. He's a quarterback whisperer. Every quarterback that's played under him has had great seasons or great careers. It's just like, come on, Jameis. Come on now. Like they picked up your option. They're expecting you to lead this team to the playoff, and then if the way you played on Sunday, it's not looking. So Jimmy Garoppolo played a good game. Not a great. He played a good game. 1 interception, it was a silly interception, but he made some crucial plays to put them in positions to score. And this is what you expect from a guy coming back from an ACL. He only threw the ball 27 times, 18 completions. So I mean, Garoppolo, he's looking like he looked comfortable. So as the season goes on, we'll probably see him more and more comfortable. But they have weapons.
I mean, he almost completed 50% of his passes.
Yeah.
So it ain't bad for your first game.
Not bad at all. Yeah. So shout out to Jimmy G. Mm-hmm. The Falcons, I picked the Falcons, and that will be the last time I ever picked the Falcons all season because Matt Ryan is trash. He is trash. My goodness, he's trash. The interception he threw in the red zone, he just, instead of throwing the ball away, he just threw it up, and it gets picked off. Like, you guys are in the red zone, throw the ball away. But yeah,
now you see why I picked Minnesota.
Yeah, these are 2 quarterbacks I don't trust, Kirk Cousins and Matt Ryan. But I will say, Dalvin Cook, if he stays healthy, this Minnesota team are Super Bowl contenders with him healthy. If he's not healthy, then you lean towards Kirk Cousins, and he ain't going to get you nowhere.
Like when you asked me last week about the prediction about these 2 teams, when I heard the Falcons, I had no hope in anybody on that team just because the head of it's Matt Ryan. But you say Cousins, he's iffy too, but he still has weapons, and you know what I mean, a lot of weapons. And Dalvin Cook,
yeah, he came out. He
relieves a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's why I like, you know what I mean, to even balance. Like,
yeah, and
they got no balance.
Julio Jones just got a contract extension, I believe, like $66 million, 3 years extension, $66 million. I think 65 of it is guaranteed. It's just a whole lot of guaranteed money for him. So shout outs to him. But you know, Matt Ryan was trying to force it to him. But The Falcons. Matt Ryan's trash. I don't even want to talk about him no more. Rams and Panthers. This was a good game for most part, but the Panthers just didn't make enough plays. The Rams did, and Todd Gurley closed out the game in the second half. In the fourth quarter, I say he had some big runs that sealed the victory. And the Panthers had some chances. They had a key interception, but they didn't capitalize on that to tie the game up. And hey, this was a good game, but the Panthers need some wide receivers. It's like it's the Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey show. They have nothing.
We
else.
got a couple teams like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's tough, though. Like, there's a few teams with no wide receivers. So I don't know what they got to do in the league, where the receivers are, but they need to get some with the Panthers, man.
Well, these GMs need to look better at drafting, because some of the guys that were drafted to other teams in later rounds, I'm like, yo, y'all missed these guys.
Or the Panthers could sign Felton Davis III, who got released for the Chiefs. Yeah.
Or that. Yeah.
Or that. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to that. Get him on the team, because they need one.
Come on, cuz.
Cam can't be throwing it to these little receivers, and then like DJ Moore, they got a good drive going on, and then he wants to fumble. Momentum shifts right there. But we'll see what happens with the Panthers. But the Rams, good start. They definitely. I mean, Jared Goff didn't play great, but he played good enough. The running game. Malcolm Brown, he had 2 touchdowns for them. He spelled Todd Gurley, and he had like 50 yards of his own. So the running game really got it going for the Rams, and that's how the Rams got to win the running game. As long as Todd Gurley's there, they're healthy, they have a chance.
He's your best player.
Yeah.
So.
And they've proven they could go on the road and win. So I mean, that's not an easy thing to go across the country and win, but. All right, Monday Night Football. This was some exciting stuff. First, we'll start with the first game, Houston versus New Orleans, and quite the ending. What an ending. This was probably one of the craziest endings I've watched in football, but Deshaun Watson is not going to make it if these guys don't protect him. He was sacked 6 times, hit 10 times, and even on the game, the touchdown pass he threw to put them up the last couple seconds, if you watch the whole thing, he was laying on the ground because he took a big hit.
Yeah, he did.
And, I mean, we're going to have another Andrew Luck situation if this continues.
Yeah, man. He got some talent. I voted for the Saints. I picked the Saints to win. Man, I didn't like how they ended the game.
Yeah.
They was, bleeding the clock and all this. It's like, bro, let's just get this dub.
Get this up.
You know what I mean? Right. But, I say that was the difference between a Hall of Fame quarterback and a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Because, Watson won the game for him. It's just you had Breeze on the other end.
And then I don't know what defense they were doing. I mean, they had them pinned back, and then they let them get a big play and get them to close to midfield. And then 6 seconds left, they have 1 timeout, and you guys are playing prevent. It's 6 seconds left.
And analysis called it out, too.
Yeah.
Said, he switched or whatever, called the audible, or whatever he did, and picked the receiver he's going to throw it to, and threw it to him for the first down, whatever.
Yeah, and then the timeout. Mm-hmm. But this is why I have been a big advocate of Bill O'Brien needs to go. This team is not going to win a Super Bowl with Bill O'Brien as a coach because of stuff like that, pretty much. That whole coaching staff need to go, actually, because Deshaun Watson deserves better. That offense deserves better. It's like, plus the defense, you guys can't stop making one stop. There's like 30 seconds left. Just one stop. They needed a field goal. But I just go back to that defensive play call. Like, that was horrible. That was terrible.
But man, Breeze is a high guy, man. You give him enough time into the game, he's going to make something happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. So we had a little After the Whistle special. I'm not going to talk about this game. Quickly, before we go to this to this +1 special that I can't talk. Pedro, could you bring up the Week 1 predictions that we had? Our predictions. So here's the standings from Week 1. The predictions we had. That's the college one. There's another one.
I was going to say, bro.
And here's the NFL Week 1 results. So he went 11-2-1. I went 9-5-1 This tie was just ridiculous.
Yeah,
that tie
was stupid. That could have been 12-2 or what?
I could have. There was a couple games where I should have just picked the different teams, but whatever. 9-5-1, 11-2-1. So he got it for this week.
I didn't think I was that good though. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'll see more of this. Here's a little +1. We had a special After the Whistle the other day with John Hoffman talking about some high school football. So here's some of it right here. This is a special high school football preview show with the legendary John Hoffman. John, this is another year for you doing this, man. How's it feel entering a new year?
Depends how you spell legendary.
So what year? 30 some odd years now?
Almost pushing 40.
Almost pushing 40. You've seen a lot of teams.
But who's counting?
Yeah, you've seen a lot of teams.
If you talk legendary, if you say old, then you probably get closer.
Yeah, so this got to be some fun times for you. The football season is always a great time. And last year we had a great football season in the city. Now this year, new teams. So we're going to get right into it and look at some of the schools here and see what are their chances of going all the way this year. We're going to start off. Well, we had some games this weekend on Thursday and on Friday. Kip Academy and Lynn Tech faced off, both losses. But with those, let's start off with Lynn Tech. What do you think of that team coming into this year? They lost their quarterback. Obviously graduated. They lost some players on defense. So.
They lost quite a bit. They had to replace it with young kids. James Runner does a great job at Lynn Tech with his coaching staff. And the thing they lacking now is experience. They had outstanding. Not only was the quarterback last year, Barriosa, great quarterback. He was a great student. He was an exceptionally smart young man. So he made very good decisions, and it's hard to replace people like that. And you bring up somebody who hasn't played as much, and now you throw him into the fire, and along with running backs. Line. They had a tough opening game against Greater Lowell. They didn't score. They got close a couple of times, made a couple of mistakes, had a couple of errors, a couple of penalties, and that's what's happening with inexperienced teams, and they're going to have to fight their way through that. So it's only one game getting started, but they've got a lot to work on.
Yeah, in that game they had 4 total turnovers, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions, a lot of penalties.
And the fumbles came at crucial times. They looked like they might be doing something, getting close, and the fumbles caused them to blow up.
Yeah, how do you see them faring in their conference, in the Commonwealth Conference?
It's not easy. Everybody thinks Commonwealth Conference, but you still got teams like Greater Lowell, Clever Lawrence, Shawsheen, who have large numbers. Everybody thinks Lynn Tech is a technical institute, so they don't have that many students like Greater Lowell, Greater Lawrence, Shawsheen. And when you break it down, and you still have soccer players, and you have track players, and there's a lot of distractions now for the young kids, and Lynn Tech has probably the most difficult time with their athletic programs, because they've got kids who they take shop one week, they take classes another week. Later on, they'll be going out, maybe working on their jobs out around the area. So it's difficult for them even to get to practice. So that makes it extremely difficult, as opposed to English or classical, step out their back door and they're ready to practice at 2:30, and they're dressed 3 o'clock, they're going full tilt. James Runner might be missing 1 or 2 players because they're working their job someplace, basketball, soccer, baseball, and that makes it really difficult on the coaching staff and the players as well.
Yeah, definitely. And with Lynn Tech, the past couple of years, they've lost a lot of great talent. The year before they lost 2 star running backs, and now you lose your star quarterbacks graduate and stuff. So it's hard replacing talent like that.
Well, it's hard when you have 2,000-yard runners in the backfield, and they both graduate, and then you're going to come back. But last year they did it. They won some games. They made the playoffs. They had a pretty good year. James Runner did a very good job. But you can't do that every year. You keep losing players like that, and eventually it catches up with you. I do the Everett football games on their station. They've been winning, going to the Super Bowl. If they don't go to the Super Bowl, it's a losing season. They got crushed in their first game against Springfield Tech, and now people are wondering, and I say, eventually, it's got to happen. You can't keep getting Tom Brady's and Peyton Manning's every year. Eventually you got to say, we got to start to rebuild again.
Let's look at Kip Academy. They had their first game Thursday night at Manning Field, and it was another not a good outing for them. It was a good day for them.
Well, they get shut out as well, and again, a difficult time. They've got classes that go a little bit longer. You know, it's a fairly new program that they're now getting into the Northeast, the Commonwealth Conference.
Yeah.
And you know, they picked it up a little bit, even in basketball, playing classical in St. Mary's and Lynn Tech last year. Now they'll play Tech on Thanksgiving. Last year they'll start playing them every year on Thanksgiving, which is good with the two Lynn schools. But again, it's difficult for everyone, because when you got English, classical, St. Mary's, Tech, KIP, you have 5 teams. I don't think there's anybody in the, never mind the state, in the country that has 5 high schools in the same city. And now you have to pick, this kid goes here, that kid goes there, and you know, they're bouncing around from here to there, and you know, it's extremely difficult to spread that talent out.
Yeah. So they're gonna have a lot of growing pains this season, just because new program and trying to get accustomed to building a tradition over there.
Yeah, plus you can't get everybody in, because it's almost like a lottery to get in the school. You can get people in, but you don't just get in because you're an athlete, or you don't get a scholarship to KIP because you can play football. You're going to earn your way in, and then they have to pick and choose from whatever they have in the school. So you know, they're not getting all the big name athletes from, you know, the programs working their way up, or kids coming in from other cities don't necessarily say, I'm going to come in like the young man from English that came from Salem. He's originally from Lynn. His family moved to Salem. They're coming back to Lynn. Great player. They don't get those players. They don't get those types of.
So if you want to watch that full episode, go to the website, click on the video on demand. It's there, 30 minutes. We preview some high school football, Lynn High School football. Everybody, a lot of games kicking off Friday. All right, let's get into some college. We're going to run through this next block real quickly. We're going to start with LSU and Texas. This was quite the game, actually.
Yeah,
this was one of those heavyweight type of games. You know, you got top 10 teams, athletes, and All-Americans all over the place, and it lived up to the hype, and both quarterbacks played their tails off, both of them, Ellinger and Burrow. These guys were making plays out there, but LSU just made a little more plays than Texas.
Ellinger's nice, but his mama nice too. But yo, that dude Burrow, that dude's a dog. Yeah, dude, yeah. Ellinger's mama nice. You see it? They had a camera on him and everything. But yo, Burrow, he's a dog. I felt like if Fournette had Burrow, it might do some things, like, because LSU's always been missing a legit quarterback. They had a couple that were all right.
Their last good quarterback was Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, my point is that they had a couple that had one year they was all right, then they fell off. You know what I mean? So it's like they never had a consistent one since Russell.
They did that. That was a great victory for them on the road. And I mean, hopefully we get more games like that. I mean, their offense now doesn't look like an old school offense. They're actually moving the ball, passing it. So that was quite the game. And then this USC and Stanford. USC was down 17-0 at one point in this game, and they ended up outscoring them, I believe, 45-3, because I don't know what happened, but yeah, Stanford couldn't do nothing after they got that big lead, and USC could just do everything. Their quarterback was out there just dropping dimes and just making plays. And, you know, I thought Stanford was going to win because USC's starting quarterback had the torn ACL, but hey, this was a big win for them.
Yeah, man, that's why you got a couple quarterbacks in Division I level, because they all could play. Yeah. It's just one usually better than the other one. So I don't know what happened to Stanford, man. I don't even know what to say.
I don't know either. Also, Colorado and Nebraska. This game, Colorado was down 17-0 too. This was another one they were down, and then they ended up just making some big plays to send this game into overtime. And in overtime, Nebraska trusted their kicker, and their kicker let them down. The guy missed the field goal to tie the game at 24, giving Nebraska the win. And Nebraska just, they made a lot of big plays. But, kickers, man.
You only got one job, and that's the kick. When you're at practice, you don't even do anything 90% of the time. So I get it. You guys hate that there's so much pressure on you guys, but you guys don't do much but kick.
Make the kick.
Like,
Especially if it's not that far, just make the kick. That's literally all you have to do. Make the kick. I mean, maybe you folding under pressure, but my goodness, that was. If I was a Colorado player, I'd be tight for blowing the 17. I'm not Colorado. Nebraska player, I'd be annoyed for blowing away that 17-0 lead. But then to get a chance to make it a go into double OT, it's like, bruh.
I'll be brutally honest, bro. If I'm a coach and I got a kicker that's screwing up, I'm always going to have an extra player that can kick. I don't care if my free safety, center, I don't care what he is, bro, because you know they're ready to play.
Yeah.
Kickers are never ready to play.
Yeah.
They don't play enough.
You know my motto: never, ever, ever put your trust in a kicker because you're just going to end up being disappointed. All right, Michigan, this one, these guys, they had quite the battle against Army. This game went into overtime, but Army, they're going to look back at this game and be like, wow, we really blew it, because every time Army tried to pass the ball, something bad happened. Every time they ran the ball, something good happened. And what cost them is them trying to pass the ball, because that basically was the reason they lost the game.
I'm just happy Michigan didn't get Appalachian State this time.
Yeah.
They didn't get Appalachian.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they came through and pulled the win out, because it would have been embarrassing for you to lose the Army your first game of the season.
A win's a win.
Exactly.
A win's a win. You got to get them. Some wins are going to be blowouts. Some are going to be ugly. But this is just the process. You learn how to win. I mean, some people are down on them or hard on them, saying like it was an impressive win. It's still a win. That's one thing I hate about college football. Is they're always
points.
they're always like, oh, they won, but it wasn't impressive. They won. That's all that matters. It don't matter. They could win by 50 or they could win by 2 points. As long as they win, they shouldn't be punished for winning.
But you know why? Because certain schools, like Power 5, get a certain amount of, scholarship players, and other schools don't. So there's no reason why they should be competing with certain schools.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just so many stipulations and so many other factors that go into it. Should just be wins and losses.
Pretty much. I think it's just wins and losses. I don't care if it's impressive or not. As like, if you win the game, that's good. If you lose, then you drop in the polls. But as long as you keep winning, you should be fine. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see how our college football predictions. Pedro could bring that up. We had this one too, and I think I fared a little better in this one.
Yeah, you did. You smacked me.
I went 4-1. I had Stanford winning, but yeah, that didn't go as well. It was that Maryland-Syracuse game for you. Maryland, them guys, they just look, they look unstoppable on offense.
Bro, I don't know what it is, but Maryland's usually decent every year. They had a couple years they fell off, but they're usually decent, bro.
Yeah.
But Syracuse shouldn't have been ranked.
Well,
what?
With that, we're gonna get into our Week 3 college football predictions. We're gonna pick 5 games again and see and make our predictions. Once again, the primetime game of Saturday night is Clemson versus Syracuse. In Syracuse, last year they played Clemson tough down there at Clemson. This was an anticipated game. They thought both teams were gonna come in undefeated, but Clemson's kind of starting off slow. Trevor Lawrence is kind of starting off slow, but I'm going with Clemson.
Man, yeah, of course. You go with Clemson. Like, what? Bro, you serious? All right. Battle of the Orange, huh?
Right. Ohio State and Indiana, Big Ten matchups. 2 undefeated teams. J.K. Dobbins, he's been looking good for Ohio State. Their quarterback, too. I keep forgetting his name. Whatever, but he's been looking good, too. Indiana always plays them tough. This game's in Indiana. It might be closer than what people might think just because it's a rivalry game, but Indiana is not going to win Ohio State.
Definitely the Buckeyes.
All right. Some SEC matchups. Alabama, South Carolina. This is in Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah, Alabama.
Roll Tide.
All right, this one's going to be a good one. Arizona State, Michigan State. This is at East Lansing. East Lansing, Michigan.
You said Michigan State and who else?
Arizona State. 2 undefeated teams, 2-0.
Arizona State.
You going Arizona State?
Yeah, more Arizona State.
I'll go Michigan State just because I don't want my friends to come hassle me about it. Iowa and Iowa State. This is an in-state rivalry game. This will be in Ames, Iowa.
I'm going to pick Iowa.
My family of Cyclones, so I can't go against the whole team. That's it. We're going Iowa State. And, yeah, that's about it. Okay, last one. Florida State and Virginia. No, actually, no, forget that one. Oklahoma, UCF. No, Florida State, Virginia.
Virginia.
Florida State.
They trying to get rid of that coach.
Yeah, they are. All right, and then we are going to go into our NFL Week 3 predictions. We're going to run through these scores, these games for you, see what we got here. All right, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Thursday night.
Carolina.
You got Carolina. It's in Carolina. I'm going with the Panthers because of that whole Jameis Winston factor. Because, bruh, you gotta be kidding me. All right, Vikings, Packers. This is in Green Bay.
Vikings.
You going Vikings? I am going with Green Bay. It's 2 weeks in a row I've picked against. Whatever. Patriots, Dolphins. Y'all know who we got on that. Seahawks, Steelers. This is in Pittsburgh.
Going with the Seahawks, man.
I think Steelers might bounce back in this one. Steelers. Cowboys and the team from Washington.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. Cardinals, Ravens.
Ravens.
Chiefs, Raiders. In Oakland.
Chiefs.
Oakland is going to upset the Chiefs. 49ers, Bengals in Cincinnati.
49ers.
49ers, I think the Bengals are going to get this one. Chargers, Lions in Detroit.
Chargers.
Colts, Titans in Tennessee.
Colts.
Titans. Bills, Giants in... there.
I got to pick that.
Yeah.
All right, Giants.
Jaguars, Texans. I got the Giants too.
Texans.
Oh, this is in Houston. Yeah, definitely Texans. Bears, Broncos. This is in Denver.
Go with the Bears.
Same. Likewise. Rams, Saints, rematch of NFC Championship game.
Go with the Saints, man.
Saints. You going with the Saints?
Yep.
I'm going with the Rams. Eagles, Falcons, Sunday night.
Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles. And Browns, Jets.
Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Browns because I'm not picking no New York team. And we got an NFL top 10. If Pedro could bring that up, some top 10 plays from week 1.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we got some top 10 plays from week 1.
Dope.
Ooh, let's check it out. Team USA lost to France. Yeah, Team USA. Come on, y'all got to get that together.
Don't they only have like Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, he had 26 and 12. Evan Fournier, 2.
Fournier.
Yeah,
Who's that point guard?
I don't know. Frank Nicolatina.
The guy from the Knicks?
Yeah.
Oh, he's all right.
They let the crying Frenchman get a double-double on them. Like, yeah, that's pathetic. That's pathetic. The Red Sox fired their GM, Dombrowski, which is shocking, but whatever.
I don't know the stipulations of why he got fired.
Me either.
So
I don't either.
That's unfortunate.
Tennis, Rafael Nadal, he won his 19th major the other day, and then Serena got upset by this Russian. I think she's Russian. I don't know. Oh, Canadian, yeah. Which was, anytime somebody beats a Serena, it's a big deal. But congratulate.
She's young too.
Yeah, she's
Serena
young.
loses to like a lot of young up-and-coming talent, which is not a problem because she's like she's the icon to these ladies. So.
Yeah, sports is a young person's game. And with that, Y'all see the top 10. Well, yeah, the top 10 dope though. We are done. We are up out of here. We will see you guys again next week. He'll be here. Hopefully Pedro will be here. We don't know what's going to happen with Antonio Brown. But yeah, check it out. Next week we'll be back.